From Claudia Severa to her Lepidina, greetings. On the 11th of September, sister, for the day of the celebration of my birthday, I give you a warm invitation to make sure that you come to us and make the day more enjoyable for me. Welcome to the first episode in our miniseries, Legion, Life in the Roman Army, an exhibition which is currently running at the British Museum until June 2024. Over 3 episodes, we'll talk all things army about the exhibits that piqued our sensory interest. Not just the usual weapons and armour stuff, but the less obvious and sometimes surprising aspects of warfare that don't always get so much airtime or attention. The birthday party invitation, unearthed at the remote Roman fort of Vindolanda, stands out because of how everyday and un-army-ish it is. And in our view, it's always fun to look at things from a different perspective. Now, Caroline, before we get started, I think you should have another go at the quiz from our Season 1 Army Life episode.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to see what you can remember and to help set the scene for the listeners.
Okay.
Okay?
Hit me.
All right. So there were 4 questions, 8 points in total, and you scored 4 out of 8.
That's 50%.
It is. It's not great. You can improve on that.
And I intend to.
Excellent. Question 1. Which Roman general frequently features in lists of the top 10 generals of all time?
Gaius Julius Caesar.
Correct. 1 point. Next, I'm going to name 3 core elements of the Roman army, and I'd like you to order them in terms of size from smallest to largest. Cohort, legion, century.
Legion, cohort, century.
Smallest to largest.
Cohort, legion, century. No, I know.
Third time lucky.
Is it cohort, century, legion?
No, that's what you said last time, I'm pretty sure.
Is it century, cohort, legion?
It is. Oh dear. So let's move on to question 3.
Moving quickly on.
Order the following in terms of rank, lowest to highest. Camp prefect, centurion, military tribune.
Centurion, camp prefect, military tribune.
No.
Oh, for God's sake.
Centurion, military tribune, camp prefect. So you got 1 point there. Final question. What was a pugio? A type of dagger. B, a small round shield. C, a fight.
It's a small round shield.
No.
Or a dagger.
Okay, so you got fewer points than you did the first time round.
Some things
you have learnt nothing.
I feel like if you're going to know it, you know it, and then some things you'll just never know.
Okay, should we get on with the episode then?
Shall we? Please, let's march onwards.
Would you like to go first?
I would, please. I will be considering touch with this exhibit.
Okay.
My first object from the exhibition is the protective amulets. There were 2 of these. They're 2 black round pieces of jet stone, around the size of a small coin, I would say.
Yeah.
One had a carved loop at the top so that a string or a chain could be passed through it and then you could wear it around the neck. The other may have just been carried in a pouch or your pocket, something like that. They have been found all over the Roman Empire with different imagery on them. These 2 specific ones, the first one depicts Cupid throwing a cup to another Cupid. Why not?
Fun.
And the second shows Medusa or a Gorgon's face carved in relief on these pieces of jet. So I want you to imagine being in the Roman army, in a fort, maybe nowhere near your home, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by foreign, unknown enemies.
Yeah.
You might put your hand into your pocket and run your fingers over the carved stone.
Ooh.
And feel that relief, that Medusa's face, and think, oh good, I'm being protected.
Okay.
So you can identify the amulet by the touch of that relief carving.
Okay, and so you can imagine the picture in your head.
Or you might put your hand to the chain round your neck, like clutching at pearls or something like that, and say a little good luck incantation before battle. And that feel of the amulet against the skin of your chest, knowing you have protection there. Especially Medusa's heads, actually. It was thought that this image would draw evil toward it and then contain it.
Okay, so you don't really want it on your chest then?
Well, no, but it contains it, so it's so that the evil won't affect you.
Okay.
It's like a little genie's bottle, I guess.
Yeah,
for
nice.
evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
A good idea. So you've got this physical feel of the protection.
Exactly. Now, if you add to that some of the qualities of jet itself, how well do you know the qualities of jet?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert.
No.
My guess is that it's quite cold to touch.
Interesting you say that. I'll come back to that. So it was thought to swallow negative energy, and according to Pliny, your mate, everyone's mate, let's be honest, it had healing properties, good for toothache and epilepsy and identifying virgins.
Wow, that is a broad range of skills.
It's a great material for
It can do
a
anything.
plethora of things. But back to touch, depending on which type of jet is used, some jet is warm to the touch and some is cool.
Oh, really?
Now, Whitby jet,
Found in Whitby.
found in Whitby,
Yep.
is cool to the touch. So, it is arguable that this piece found in Vindolanda from the exhibition could hail from Yorkshire, Whitby.
Both being up north. in
Exactly.
Britain. Yep.
So if you add to that, then you might also have that cool feeling against your skin when you touch this stone. Another quality of jet is that rubbing it might create an electric charge, right? So if you go back to your fort, imagine you're a petrified soldier.
No,
And-
no, I'm a hardcore. I'm not scared.
Right, okay. The mate next to you is really scared and he's furiously rubbing at something in his pocket.
Okay. And we're just hoping it's jet.
Crossed fingers hoping it's jet. And he's rubbing away at this stone amulet and he might feel maybe a spark of electricity.
Ooh.
Now, wouldn't that be quite an incredible, almost magical feeling?
Yeah, it would be reassuring, wouldn't it? It would be like a sign from your protective gods or whoever, the
Exactly,
spirits.
that it's working.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why I chose the amulets. Maybe one of the least impressive exhibits in terms of size. Very tiny. You would walk past it any given day.
Yeah.
But I think when you consider it from a touch perspective, it suddenly becomes a really interesting piece.
I really like the idea of the electric shock and the manifestation of the protection for the wearer.
So, Laura, what is the exhibit that drew your eye at the exhibition?
I'm going to talk about a purse and coins, and I'm going to talk about this in relation to sound. We have a bronze container with a curved handle coming over the top, bit of decoration on there.
How big would you say that container is, Laura?
I would say it is maybe half the size of a standard bum bag.
Okay, a demi bum
A
bag.
demi bum bag, yeah. And in the front you can see a collection of coins there, silver coins. Now, soldiers, they did get regular pay, which was one of the draws of being in the army, of course. But with that regular pay, I didn't realise they had to cover the costs of their weapons and their armour.
Oh, God.
Did you know
That's
that?
just mean.
And I'm guessing that could be quite pricey.
Yeah, it's leather, it's metal. I mean, these are not inexpensive commodities, are they?
No. That's an aside. Here we have got a bronze container for these very clinky coins. Quite noisy, yeah? I don't know whether they might have had leather pouches as well. I would have thought that would be more usual. I don't know whether this is army specific, this sort of bronze container. But what I really like is the shape of it. Quite roomy, so you've probably got a lot of potential for these coins to be clinking against each other, but also against the container itself.
Metal against metal.
Metal against metal. And the hook, I would imagine they're not going to be wandering around holding these all the time. Maybe that's for putting over your belt.
See, I thought it went round your arm. I think
Maybe.
it
Do you think?
loops
Oh.
around your arm and then you hide it under the arm of your clothes.
Oh, that makes sense.
But you would definitely still be jingling as you walk down the road.
You would be jingling, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And imagine if you got into the heat of battle.
Forgot to take off my arm purse.
Who's jingling?
Oh, God, yeah. Like in an ambush situation, that would not be practical.
Yeah, Gaius, take your bum bag off.
God, he just can't be parted from his demi bum bag.
So, yeah, you've got that risk of if you just forget to take him off at a crucial moment. Also, there's no sections for your bank cards or your
Sure.
banknotes.
Yeah.
It just seems very loud.
It almost seems like a musical instrument.
Yeah, actually, and it does have that sort of look, doesn't it? But what is the rationale for having a bronze container over a leather container? They've obviously got access to leather, which is quieter, perhaps easier to transport, easier to manipulate and fit in with all your other luggage or your
I
clothing.
guess the idea is that you could cut a hole in a leather pouch. Remember in Robin Hood, the Disney film,
Yeah.
The Sheriff of Nottingham does that. And then the coins drop out of the leather pouches.
That is
You couldn't
true.
do that.
No, that's a great point.
You're very welcome. So, Laura, our shared item is a headstone, an Imaginifer headstone.
Yes.
I'm just going to describe it if you don't mind.
Please do.
It's a carved stone grave marker, about 115 centimetres tall by 60 centimetres wide. So quite big,
Yeah,
quite
chunky.
imposing, dating from the 1st century CE. For a soldier who died aged 35, sadly young age 35. It depicts the deceased, a standard bearer called Genialis, or Genialis, as you prefer, holding in one hand a scroll and in the other the imperial standard. He's wearing his Roman armour and a sword, and then he also has a wolfskin hood draped around his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
What catches the eye is this imperial standard, isn't it, carrying in his right hand, because it does kind of look like he's carrying a long stick with a picture of himself on it.
It really does look like him, doesn't it?
But it's not him, is it?
No.
It is an imago, which is the 3D portrait of the emperor, made out of metal, about 30 centimetres tall. So again, quite big. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes. We're going to be talking about sight for this one primarily. So the Imaginifer is the person who holds that standard, and it's a particular type, a very important standard bearer. They're right at the front of the army.
Well, no wonder he died then.
And they've got that image of the emperor adding morale for the troops.
Yes.
Look who you're fighting for. So you've got that vision, that actual vision of the emperor.
Because the cult of emperor worship was a thing by this time, wasn't it? So
Yes.
it's also a sacred object.
Yeah, very important. But as you've alluded to, it does make you a bit of a target, doesn't it? Not only are you very obvious, and you're holding so much, you've got the scroll, you've got the scarf, you've got the standard, you've got no shield or sword because you've got no other hands.
Even though he does have a sword, I don't think he would have had to hold the scroll at all times. Do you?
Maybe not. But anyway, he's got a lot going on.
A lot going on.
Yeah. So for one, he's a prime target. And also for an attacking army, if you take down that standard, that's going to demoralise the troops immediately, isn't it? You've cut down
Absolutely.
the physical manifestation of what they're fighting for. Almost a psychological attack.
But for the honour, you did get double pay.
You did.
So is it worth it?
Is it worth it if you die at 35 on double pay?
He could buy himself a fantastic tombstone. And this particular one has remnants of paint on it, so we always forget this, but it wouldn't just be stone, it would have been really brightly coloured, a big painted grave marker for a young man with a very important job.
Yeah, the kudos must have been quite great. All of the standard bearers were important, but this one had particular significance as well, so it's definitely a coveted post.
It's interesting that even in death, the sight of him is very important, isn't it? So in life, he was a visual target and he had a big stick with the emperor's face on it, glinting in the sun. And then in death, his headstone reflects this as well.
I think so. It's a very imposing image. He looks very proud, upright, a strong figure of a man. He looks like a proper warrior and a very impressive one. I think that's a very fitting place to end episode 1. Would you agree? Thanks for listening today, folks. Join us next time for episode 2 of our Legion mini-series. And in the meantime, why not head over to season 1 and listen to our Army Life episode to get you in the mood. Sistory History is the podcast where we chat about history and the senses. You can follow us on X, Instagram and Facebook, visit our website or even email us. We'd love to hear from you.
Bye!
Bye!